How we doing, guys? You alright? Have a good evening, good afternoon, good morning. How are we doing? Hope everybody's having a good one. Week's off to a good start. Just turn that down. And yeah. How is everybody? Alec, how you doing? Let's have a look. Oh my God, David's in here. Christ, thank you, David, for blessing us with your presence. And yeah, how you doing? No surprise with the same song. David, it's called branding. May not be familiar with it, but has to be the same song. You know, people feel welcome, warm and fuzzy in a safe place. Let's sort this out. Let's look. Get this comment section sorted. Yeah, if you're in chat, say hi. As I just do this, and then we will get going. Alfonso, how you doing? Ryan, hey mate, how you doing? Good to see you. Love that image you posted, Ryan. That's awesome, man. That's crazy. Yeah, really cool. Really cool. Yeah, thanks for posting that. It is very, very topical for what we're going over tonight. And perfect, yeah. So let's turn that all the way down just in case we get copyright struck again. Can't risk any more strikes. Hey Hans, how you doing, mate? Windy Aberdeen, Alec. Not jealous, if I'm honest. I'll stick to my drizzle down here if that's cool. Right. That wasn't just warm wee you saw me drinking. That was vitamin C. It's disgusting, but needs must, eh? So yeah, welcome guys. Let's have a chat about what we're going to be doing today. If you're new here, I don't think we got any new people in chat. I can't see any. But if you are new, say hi. Love to see who's here. If we do these live streams every couple of weeks, for the most part we use them just to go over some of your images. I do a post every Monday called Share a Shoot. You just post your shots in there, and every Monday I go through those, and every other week we do a live stream and we have a look at those. During the live stream we also have a little bit of a chat about a specific topic, whether that be, I don't know, could be anything. Could be copyright, could be AI. We're going to have a chat about AI tonight. Could be lighting, could be software. I think last time, a couple of weeks ago, we did chat about sort of plugins for Photoshop and software and bits and pieces like that. So yeah, it's just a general hangout, just nerd out a little bit about what's going on, and yeah, it's pretty much usually a couple of hours. First hour just us chatting, talking about ideas, and then second hour just going through shots and that sort of thing. So yeah, nothing crazy. There won't be an exam at the end, so feel free to say hi and chat. Love to welcome any new people in. But yeah, David, how long? It's been a while, mate. It's been a while. I thought you didn't love us anymore. I thought maybe you'd mentally retired and taken up black and white photography or something. We were all worried about you. But yeah, it's good to have you back, mate. Hope you've been well. You've been busy by the sounds of it, though. So that's good, at least. So what are we going to have a chat about today? Well, a couple of bits. I wanted to have a chat about AI again, just have a little bit of a revisit, see where we are with that AI art and that sort of thing. I know, look, I think like we kind of split. Half of you is sick to death with talking about AI and that sort of stuff. Totally get that. And then the other half is I'm kind of interested to see where it's going and what the future holds with it, and what I can do with it, right? So yeah, we'll just have a little bit of a chat about that. Look, I'm kind of in the middle with it. I'm kind of a little bit sick of it as well, but you can't ignore where it's going and what it's doing right now. And it's it's pretty crazy, because we spoke about it back in July on here. I signed up to an AI art thing called Midjourney. Basically, you just go in there and you type in a few words, it spits out an image, right? So Midjourney was obviously pretty big for a while, and like back then, all those months ago, I mean, I say all those months ago, it's like 6, 7, 8 months ago when we were chatting about it, the AI struggled a lot with faces, right? And struggled hugely with faces, and it's pretty impressive to see how far it's come in a very short space of time. So we'll have a look at that. We also, rather than us going through and looking at examples of AI, I want to kind of get into the weeds with it a little bit today and talk about some of the repercussions of it for us, copyright, for example, stock. Where does it leave like the owner of these images? What does that mean for us? And can we use it? Should we use it? These sorts of things. Dave said, "Yeah, I've just been swamped with another project. Glad to be here finally." Yeah, nice, man. Yeah, glad you can make it, mate. Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's good to be busy. Yeah, look, it's good to be busy. Especially this time of year. This time of year is notorious for being a bit patchy. I had a busy start to January, and then it was a little bit quieter, which I should have used that time to get some more of my own work done. But never mind. Next time, maybe. The other thing I want to chat about today was, before we get stuck into the AI, I just want to chat about Rotolight's firmware update. They've just released a new firmware update for their lights. I know a bunch of you have bought Rotolights in the past, or currently have them waiting for your new Rotolights to come in, that sort of thing. So we'll have a little bit of a chat about that and what that's done, because they've introduced a couple of cool new features which I think might be pretty interesting and open up a couple of creative possibilities. So that's definitely worth having a chat about. So let's just get in here a second and let's just share this. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so that's cool. We can just pause that, can't we? Where were we? Let's see. So Rotolight just released new firmware 3.0, and you can updating your lights is super easy, right? So you just go in here, you download the support. Here you just buy download the latest firmware, right, for Neo and the EOS. So you just pop it on your USB 2, I think it is. Make sure it's formatted to the fat one, and then just pop it on there. And then I'll just show you here real quick as to how you do it. It won't take 2 seconds. Let's have a look. Yeah, so I got a light here. Right, you can kind of see that. Yeah, cool. Okay, so you just plug the USB in at the bottom there. Right, it's just got a little cap there that I removed. So you just plug it in there, and then when you need to turn it on, you need to hold down these two buttons. Yeah, so you just hold them in, and then it comes up with a screen there, and it says reinstall or install the software or the firmware that you've got on there. Okay, so and then you just hit yes, and it takes a couple of minutes, but that's it. You just turn it on with those two buttons held down, and it pops up. Okay, so I've already done it earlier on, so that's all cool. And then once you've done that, you are good to go. There's a couple of features on there. Like they've got some of the Kelvin presets in there, I think, as well. So that's cool, and I think they've got flash syncing and that sort of stuff as well, which I'd need to have a look and see what has actually been done with this, or some of the updates. One of the updates that I wanted to talk about though specifically was the updates that they've had with the app, which is kind of cool. So you have this ability to take a picture of sort of any scene and then get that color from that scene directly onto your light. Okay, so I'm just going to try it here. So you can basically download the app, the Rotolight app, and then what we need to do is I'm just gonna sync the light that we've got here, right? So I'm just gonna delete that light there. So it says on the screen there, add a fixture, just hit the plus button. I can't stream this to the screen, sadly, because it kicks it off the network because I'm streaming. But yeah, so we're just going to add that there. And then on your light, you just go to the set, and then you just go to Wi-Fi control, and then the Wi-Fi app control. And it basically brings up I know you might not be able to see it there, but basically brings up a QR code type thing there. And you just shine your app at it, and then it'll recognize it. Or it should do if there's not too much light on it. There you go. So let's try that. So it's found it there. Let's click that, and it's going to join. So, okay, it's all very well. So you've joined it, and now I can obviously use this with, from the phone. I can do whatever I want with it. So you should be able to see, yeah, changing it there. So you can see now I can control it here. So that's pretty standard. We all knew it could do that. That's cool. One thing that was kind of interesting is you can now, there's a big color wheel on there, okay, and at the bottom right now on this update of the app, there's this magic eye button. And what that basically does is it brings up a screen that you can go, okay, let's take a picture of the scene, and then we can pick that scene. So I'm just going to take a picture of the crap on my desk here. So that we got some snacks on the desk. So let's use that. So we got some snacks on the desk. So we just got crap on the desk, like wrappers and that sort of stuff. And now what we can do is we can then move the cursor around our photo to get the color that we want, right? So we got like the color of some packaging there, and that just immediately changes it to the light, as you saw. Yeah. So again, we can just move it to a different color. So we just got the yellow of the M&Ms there, and then apply that. So boom, changes the color of it. Now that's cool. I mean, the other thing you can do is you can actually use an image that you've already got, right? So you've got my images here. This is that's the image that I've been sharing recently, the projector shots. So let's say we want this nice beautiful pink color that I've been sharing from those projector images, and you can go, yeah, apply to fixture, and boom, so we've got that exact pink, right? So that's great for like fashion, still life, that sort of thing, where you're trying to use items in the shot or the scene and that sort of thing. For me, if I'm trying to match colors to a projector image, right? So like I've got a scene behind the model, like a so that shoot that I shared with you guys recently, the Technique Tuesday last week, whenever it was me projecting like a corridor or a scene onto the actual background behind the model, right? So I can have that image on my phone, and I can go, right, let's just take that image from that scene, boom, and use that exact color. Yeah. So let's see if we go back here a second. So this is really useful, I think, and I think it will have more uses the more we sort of play with it and think about it. So look, here you go. Yeah. So this is the shoot. This was the shoot I was talking about, right? So this is an image projected onto the background. So I would also have this image on my phone. So here I'm trying to bed the model into that scene. So what I'm also doing is I'm actually bouncing some blue light from the EOS 2 onto the model, right? So I'd have this blue corridor behind the model, and I would just take the app, have that image, and then click exactly on that blue color, and then boom, straight away I'm going to have the same blue color bounced into the scene. So I think it has some potential for it to be useful, time saving, especially if you're struggling with it and that sort of thing. Pretty cool. I haven't tested it myself yet with regards to the Kelvin value of it, right? So what what Kelvin value do I need to set my camera to get this to work, right? Because at the moment I've just typed in that pink value. Yeah, so this pink value from that projected image, and I've sent that to the light. So what Kelvin value do I need to set my camera to so that that pink value comes out the same? Now I am guessing, based on my experience with the Rotolight deem daylight as 5,500 Kelvin. It's a little bit warm for me, but in my experience, Rotolight seems to put daylight at about 5,500 Kelvin. So my guess is, if you wanted to play with this straight out the gate, my guess is to start at around 5,500 Kelvin and sort of test it from there. But yeah, I would need to check that myself. So, I think it's pretty cool. The other things that they've got in there with the latest update is the ability to use the flash triggers, which is super useful with regards to things like using the Godox trigger and that sort of thing. Boom, it's just in there. So I would say that would be super handy for setting that up. You just start using your Godox trigger with these. Very, very useful. So yeah, I will I'll pop that in chat just to grab the firmware if you haven't already. Update the app, and then good to go. Yeah, good to go. Okay, let's close this down then. Right. If anybody's got any questions on any of that, then let me know. What with regards to the Rotolight thing. I haven't played with it myself yet, but something that I look forward to having a go with. I think it could be cool. Like I said, especially if you're doing product shots or you're trying to get the same color each time, or maybe you've got light coming in through a window and you kind of want to match that exact same tone that's being, that's falling on the wall onto your light to take a picture. Instantly got that same color. Now, I mean, I'm okay with matching colors, but I know some people struggle with it, right? It's like trying to tune a guitar. Some people are like, oh, I can't get this guitar back in tune. I don't have the ability to be able to get it tuned without auto tuner, as it were. And it's the same with like color, right? Some people can't match colors. So that I think will be a handy tool. So the other thing I wanted to talk about here tonight was the AI situation, right? Where are we with that? So let's have a look. So we got some topics here, or some examples of AI and where it is. And like I said, we chatted about this 6, 7, 8 months ago about AI in photography, and it was a bit of fun. We were all, testing out these phrases that you could put in, so like here, for example, you've got gangster Yoda, right? And then boom, you type that in, and you're gonna get something like this. And it's all fun and games. And then obviously time's gone on, and the AI has got incredibly powerful very, very quickly. In fact, when we streamed about this before, I think there was some people in chat was saying who had experience working in AI was like, look, 6 months ago I would have told you that this was impossible, and now 6 months fast forward, and it's like, and it's just normal now. And I think it's because AI has just been having so much data being given to it, and how is it learning, right? How is it learning what's right and what's wrong? Well, the way that Midjourney, for example, worked was you would input a phrase, and then what happens is that it would give you 4 examples back. Yeah, so it would give you 4 examples back in return. So you'd get your gangster Yoda or whatever, and then it would give you 4 examples, and then you go, okay, I prefer this one. Let's do some more examples based on this example. So what you're doing is you're telling this AI algorithm what you prefer, and humans are now telling all the AI algorithms what they prefer, and it's basically learning like that. It's going, okay, humans prefer this, humans prefer that over this, humans prefer this over that, right? So very, very quickly, if that's happening millions of times a day, then the AI has learned very, very quickly, and it's been able to work out what we prefer faces wise quite quickly as well. So we're like, oh my god, that face doesn't look very good. I prefer this kind of face, and it learns what to what to look for. Has anybody in chat actually used any of these AI programs before? I know many of you haven't in the past, like Midjourney, and we've got like DALL-E and Diffusion or whatever it's called. So yeah, I mean, there's plenty out there now. But so fast forward to where we are now, and like I was saying, that the AI is getting very, very powerful, and this came up on my feed, I think yesterday, whenever it was. This is basically Tim Tadder. Those of you who don't know Tim Tadder, he's a very well-known sports photographer, and does a lot of big budget shoots for Nike and all that sort of stuff. So I mean, he is definitely at the top of his game in terms of the stuff that he's producing. Those of you, I think he's even removed it now, but he used to do like the water, colored water balloons and stuff like that many years ago. But yeah, so these ones, water wigs, years ago. So that's kind of what a lot of people know him for. So he's a big name in the industry for sure. And then he puts out the fact that he's been playing with it. Okay, and these are the sorts of shots that the results that he's been getting. And in terms of a certain style, like the Warhol style is what he's going for. And we've got the Polaroid-esque style, but look at the quality of these faces now, right? Now, there's certainly elements of these shots that are over the top, but like for the most part, the average Joe scrolling through Instagram is not going to go, oh, look at that AI image. You're just not, right? You're just not. You are legit going to be going, that is definitely a real shot of real people. Yeah. So Ryan says, I just dabble with Midjourney for now. I see a lot of users who have learned to prompt and coax some amazing things out of it. Exactly, Ryan. Yeah, exactly. It's nuts. Yeah. Now, again, right? I mean, very stylistic, especially with the coloring and like the fashion that we've got there, and the just the overall style that they've got is nuts. And the fact that not only are we talking about humanistic style, we're not talking about fashion style, we're also talking about era, whether it be the 60s, haircuts, looks, makeup, all these sorts of things are having an effect. And on top of that, we also have a photographic style, whether you like it or not, but the Polaroid-esque, what's happening with the way that it deals with blacks, the way that it deals with highlights, the way that it deals with color. Like, these are stylistic approaches that the AI is, so you end up with these layers and layers and layers and layers of believability, that makes it very, very difficult to distinguish from real life. Yeah. There's like a light stand in the background of this. It's just like, what on earth? So yeah, I mean, look at this. It's nuts. It's crazy. Okay. So, I mean, by all means, you can look at that. I don't know what Jeffrey Dahmer seems to be in the back of that one, but that's fine. So look, I mean, long and short of it is, it's come a very, very long way from where we were 6 months ago. So it is growing unbelievably quickly, very, very quickly. And look, Tim isn't known for being or for holding back. He's certainly known for being pretty blunt, and basically what he's saying is, here, I want to remind people that AI art is a new medium that is that has incredible power. It is something in and of itself, and as an contemporary artist, I feel like I have to explore it. And as a photographer that knows it's going to destroy so many of my peers and friends, I have to understand it and share my journey. So yeah, I mean, he's definitely saying here that he thinks that it is going to destroy some of his friends' livelihood. So he wants to make sure that he's ahead of that, I guess. I'm exploring the art, and I love the images that drew me to the craft in the first place. There is one thing I have learned in the past week of exploring, is that all photographers and artists are pissed off, mad at AI, and mad at me for using it. I wanted to remind everyone that just because I'm using it does not mean that I support it, what it's going to do to people I love. Look, like I say, whether you can see his side of it or not, I mean, he's basically saying, yeah, look, either get on board or get left behind, essentially. By all means, read what he's got to say and have a look at his images. But I was very surprised to see somebody like Tim Tadder sharing work like this. It's all very well, playing with it, right? I mean, I played with it, 8 months ago, whenever it was. I'm certainly not going to put the images that the bot created on my bloody website, or on my portfolio. So I wonder whether he'll keep these up here, 6 months time, a year's time, 5 years time. I wonder whether he'll keep these up here under his name, Tim Tadder. I wonder, because I think it comes down to arguing how much of it is your work, how much of it is Tim's work, and that's what we're going to kind of talk about here in a second, about the copyright issues that we're all about to wade into. So Carl says, you are the king of colour gels, awesome talent man, keep inspiring us. Oh, thank you, Carl. Appreciate that. So yeah, have a look at that. ProEDU, the guys that did my tutorial and that sort of stuff, they posted a post here the other day, a couple of days ago. How close are we to addressing AI models with the exact wardrobe? Because that's going to be a massive game changer. So this is AI images here, and what I presume Gary at ProEDU is talking about is that fashion. How hard is it going to be, or how easy is it going to be for us to just dress the models in the fashion that is required for the shoot? And it's always good to see the comments in a lot of these posts and that sort of thing, because they are very divergent, right? You got people on both ends of the spectrum like, wow, I can't wait, I want to learn this, show me the ways, and other people like, I'm unfollowing and unsubscribing, this is outrageous, how dare you. So people are very, very passionate about this. Gary then went on to post this image here. So let's play a game, AI or Real Portrait by Eric Almus. And difficult to say, right? Difficult to say. And a lot of people here are like, yeah, that's real. No, that's AI. No, that's definitely Eric's work. People are like, how dare you say that's Eric's work? Those of you that don't know Eric's work, then definitely check it out. But Gary is raising an interesting point here, and this is where the issue is starting to arise, because what's happening is that people are generating AI work under the guise of it being in the style of somebody else. So like the classic like dog eating ice cream in the style of Picasso, right? So we all know what Picasso's work looks like, and we all know the obscure shapes and geometrics and that sort of stuff. So a dog eating an ice cream in that style, we can kind of go there. Pretty obvious as well, because the AI has a huge amount of data points to pull from. So okay, now it gets down to the nitty gritty when somebody, whether it was ProEDU or not, was like, okay, 1960s fashion image in the style of Eric Almus, boom. Now, I don't know whether this is actually real or not, and that's the issue, right? That's the real issue here, is that we don't actually know whether this is AI or not. I think it actually is, but the point being is that you really need to take a very close look, and you could zoom in and like the pupils are a little bit sketchy, but like for the most part, right, we get into a point where it's like, holy hell. And I mean, look, I've done it with my work as well. You can go in there and say like portrait in the style of Jake Hickson. You just get some person covered in crazy colors back. So the issue is becoming prevalent where like the AI is getting so good now that you can ask for what you want firstly, right, which is what we were doing ages ago, asking for what you want, whether it was spaceship on Mars. Okay, cool. The AI can go, boom, there you go, spaceship on Mars. Now, what we're getting to the point now is spaceship on Mars in the style of Ansel Adams or something like that. Okay, now when we're dealing with super abstract images like that, like we know that obviously that he didn't take that. But what happens if we get into the subtles like this, fashion portrait in the style of Eric Almus? Well, okay, now we get to the point where we just don't know. Like, where's the ownership here? Who owns this? Was it the person who typed in the sentence owns this? Was it the Midjourney? Do they own it? Or is it Eric Almus? I mean, he took shots like this originally, so is it his idea? This is where we get into the grey area, and this is what we're going to be wading through in the coming months and years, and it's going to be very, very difficult, I think, to work it out. Somebody sent me this earlier on today, which was, we were chatting on Instagram about AI and that sort of stuff, and they just sent me this. This is Space Babes Utopia AI, and there's loads of examples. I haven't really delved into AI in a long time, but these are all AI generated images, by the way. And I think we can all agree that the technology of its ability to generate faces has come just an incredible it's just come so far compared to where it was 6 months ago. But it does enable you to generate images very, very quickly that would obviously be well outside of your reach of being able to make, right? This, for example, like, you're able to do stuff like this, which would take somebody like me who can't draw and paint particularly well, that's just be impossible, right? So you're able to play with these ideas very, very quickly. Now, I don't know how long this account has been up, but like this guy is uploading fistfuls of images every day. Yeah. So like 2 days ago, and so he's just all these are like 2 days, 2 days, 2 days, 3 days, 3 days, 3 days, 3 days. You see my point here about how much work is just being spat out onto the internet, and the rate at which, like, this would normally, like a shoot like this would take probably months, right? You either got to build this contraption back here, source it, go out into the desert, get the outfit made, all that sort of stuff, get everything signed off, and was like, this sort of stuff is taking weeks, whereas it can be done within hours. So we have the ability to generate not only anything we want, but anything we want damn near instantaneously. So I think it's not going to go away anytime soon, right? Somebody mentioned that Ted Forbes, over there at the Art of Photography, spoke about AI, I think just the other day as well. So he's obviously very well known in the industry, especially for his background and history about taking images, and he was pretty flippant about it. He was like, it's definitely out there. I don't really see it as too much of an issue at the moment. I've got friends who take images and it's not going to affect them in any way. So he was fairly brushed it off a little bit. Doesn't just sees it as almost like a passing thing. And again, the comments on here are probably worth a quick read. You're going to have a few more highbrow comments in there than you are on Instagram, right? So it's interesting to see people's opinions on that. And here is, this is what I'm talking about. You want like a landscape photo in the style of Ansel Adams and that sort of stuff. And he's using this as an example, saying that it's got the bare bones of something, but it's not really there, yet. And yeah, you're right, it looks pretty ropey. And again, he was saying that, face and that sort of stuff. For some reason, AI is struggling with hands and fingers, but you can guarantee that'll be fixed within weeks, as we get to a point where now AI's got faces locked down. People are going to be, oh no, I don't like that image. I like this image with 5 fingers, thanks, not 16. So yeah, like to say, it's not there yet. It's literally going to be there by Thursday. Like it's not something that is like, whoa, yeah, we can kick that can down the road. Like this is definitely going to be something that's going to be an issue very, very soon, if not now. Okay. Something else happened this week was that they were worried about AI removing watermarks, right? And even Ted mentioned that it's like, look, we had an industry upheaval years ago when stock photography became a thing, right? And he was saying that like everybody thought that was the end of photography. It's the cataclysmic event that's going to change the way that photographers work. And yeah, it was a big change, but it certainly didn't mean that we no longer took photos anymore. It was stock was a thing, and we dealt with it and we moved on. And his point was that AI will be the same as that. So to that point, this was like a few days ago, and basically AI's got to has the ability to remove watermarks now, but just incredibly easily, very, very quickly, and pretty much without. These are some hefty topics, but yeah, it's just removing watermarks, especially from stock images and that sort of thing. So obviously everybody's losing their mind about that. Look, I'm sure it's a big thing, but hey Steve, how you doing, mate? Sure, it's it is a big issue, but I feel like that's really the least of our concerns, right? I feel like content aware has been around for ages. If people wanted to remove watermarks, they could do. The fact that AI can do it in a fraction of the time now is okay. Yeah, true. Still doesn't take away from the fact that you're stealing images. So I sure, something to keep an eye on, but I don't think it's going to be the game changer that maybe people are thinking it's going to be. I don't think any more images are going to be stolen because of it. So we're talking about copyright, who owns these images and what does that mean, and where is it? Where is AI learning all these things from? And I forget the actual figures now, but I think like DALL-E back in the day was sourcing from like 6 million images or something online. It was looking at this group of 6 million images, and that's where it was getting its data from. So you got to remember like the capture things that we have to do to like go, are you a human or are you a robot? When we sign in somewhere, like those capture things, like you got to understand that, like, if our kids have to do those captures, they're going to be pretty complex, right? The AI knows damn well whether there's a bicycle in that shot or not, right? You're telling me that those captures are fooling anybody? Are fooling AI? No. Our kids doing captures will be doing I'll be doing bloody brain teasers, I should think. They're not going to they're just going to be deciphering all sorts of Da Vinci codes rather than just is there a bicycle in this shot or not. So yeah, these AI programs are sourcing from millions of files online to get their data, to read their data, and this is the issue, right? Where people are going in the style of I want a dog on a mountain bike in the style of Rembrandt. Right? But it has to get that data from somewhere, so it's using these images online. Now, what's happening is that Adobe and the stock images and the images in the cloud of Adobe are essentially going to be a part of that algorithm. So if people are looking for images, then Adobe is saying, sure, you can use our images that to source that data from. So So if you're an Adobe Creative Cloud subscriber, you might want to go and turn off a new setting immediately. It's been discovered that Adobe has automatically opted users into a content analysis program that allows Adobe to analyze your media files in a Creative Cloud for use in its machine learning training programs. Okay, so here you go. This is the content analysis. So this is the thing that's automatically on in the settings of your Adobe account. Okay, Adobe may analyze your content using techniques such as machine learning, pattern recognition to develop and improve our products and services. So, which is essentially what that's doing. Like we say always, well, it's just machine learning. It's just using it to pattern recognition. Yada. Well, no, it's not, because the AI algorithms that is literally what they're basing it on. Is that data? So the setting, which appears to be on by default for all Creative Cloud subscribers, allows Adobe to perform content analysis on Creative Cloud and document cloud content, including but not limited to image, audio, video, text, documents, etc. So this is the stuff that's uploaded to the cloud. I do kind of find it a little bit weird, because every third time I try and save an image in Adobe, it says, look, upload it to the cloud, right? I can't turn this prompt off, and every couple of times I try and save an image, it says, do you save it to the cloud? And you have to go, no, I want to save it on my computer, not to the cloud. So they're definitely pushing people to get their, they want you to use this for sure, and the more data they have, then the better it is, right? Now, sure, maybe it's a little bit of panic, hysteria, like, oh no, I'm sure it's fine. I'll let you be the judge, but just as long as you're aware that is a setting that's on by default, by all means go in there, privacy and personal data, go in there and turn that off if you would like. Okay, I don't have any images stored in the cloud, but if you do, then make sure of it. You're right, Steve. It is like it's always keeps telling you, and it's not like, you don't. There's no prompt there to go, don't tell me again, right? It just keeps coming up. Yeah. So Paul says opting out of that will also hinder feature development of subject detection too. So okay, so what I think Paul's saying there is, and I could be wrong, Paul, maybe you're saying that is a good thing, maybe you're saying it is a bad thing, maybe I'm misinterpreting what you're saying there, but I think what Paul's saying is, look, we as photographers and Photoshop users benefit from subject detection for masks and cutting people out and backgrounds and that sort of stuff. Like, so we're benefiting from that data. And if I'm misunderstanding you here, Paul, you're saying that, look, turning that off will hinder that development. So we will suffer if that's the case. You're right. It is going to slow that down for sure. Yeah. So. Coming back to the copyright thing here. Okay, that is your point. Okay, Paul. Yeah. I mean, and you're absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, it's not just all nefarious. You're right. Adobe isn't just using it all for, we're just going to sell your images and profit from it. You're right, Paul. There is certainly points there that Adobe are using to improve its software that would directly benefit us. You are right. So copyright then, where do we stand? Yeah, so we've got these images online, saving them on the cloud. They're I mean, I get a prompt from a service that tells me your images have been used for other reasons than your intentions 3,600 times this month. My images are out there that they are being used for people, on t-shirts and mouse pads and book covers and album covers. Like, my images are being used all the time. Am I cool with it? No, of course not. But a lot of the time it's happening in areas of the world that I can't do anything about. Where it's just the Wild West in terms of copyright. China and Turkey and those sorts of places. But their images are out there, and AI is using those images, any image that is potentially online, it can source from to generate a new image, right? So, who owns these images? Does Tim own this image, or is it been taken from Warhol in the fact that it's his style and the Polaroid and that sort of thing. Like, where do we stand with the copyright on this? And this is a massive topic, and certainly not something that I could get my tiny brain around. And by all means, have a look at it yourself. But one thing that I kind of picked out of this that I found funny, that I remember from years ago, was should AI generated images be subject to copyright protection? Here we have a little more guidance. He says, a number of years ago there was the case of the monkey that took a photograph, and the answer was no, it could not be copyrighted because it has to be a human author. Just in the last week or two, the Copyright Office recited a copyright registration they approved because it was AI-based work. So what we're basically saying here is that the copyright law is out of date, right, for what we're talking about. And I remember the original story they were talking about here was a very famous picture of a self-portrait that the monkey had taken, right? So the camera is pointed towards the monkey, and the monkey had pressed the button and had taken the picture. And the court case was, well, other people had used that image, and the photographer was like, no, I own that image, you can't use that without my consent. And at the time it was deemed like, no, you don't own that, because the strict bottom line is it has to be taken by a human author. So it wasn't yours. And what we're basically saying here is that same copyright issue is being applied to AI. It's like, well, yeah, you put the prompt in, but you didn't make it, so you ain't copyrighting that. And all these companies like Midjourney and DALL-E and that sort of stuff, like when you sign up to them, you're not handing over those images. You're able to use them for your own work, but you don't own them. And the reason that Midjourney and that sort of thing do that is because it's like, well, they're going to get they're generated on our servers. We're paying for these servers, and you're just making these images. Plus, these images can't then be used again for our AI algorithm to learn. So we're in this sort of hazy state. So how do you sell them? Like, you're generating these images, how do you sell them? It's difficult because who owns them? So Steve says, I read somewhere where the photographer couldn't use the monkey's image without the monkey's consent. Exactly, right? We're getting into like, and again, it's super niche scenario, but it's kind of coming back here again, where it's like the bottom line is it has to be owned or taken, produced, captured, whatever, by a human author. Yeah. Paul says Rembrandt called from 1660. He wants his lighting back. He's claiming copyright. Exactly. Yeah. I want that back. But yeah, this is a massive topic, and trust me when I say that we are only scratching the surface of this. And it's certainly going to be something that we're going to see a lot of in the press coming soon. Adobe Stock will now let contributors sell AI-generated artwork. So we just talking about stock, right? We were talking about stock earlier on, and Ted Forbes there was mentioned in his recent video. It was like, yeah, stock was something that we all thought was going to kill photography, and that was the end of it. Stock's coming out now, and now stock photographers, those stock photographers who were selling their images for 50 pence years ago, now they're being shafted by AI, because now any of us can generate stock imagery, right? And we can start selling it. And Adobe is like, yeah, bring it on, man. Yeah, we'd love to see your stock imagery, please. We'd love to see your AI generated imagery and start selling it as Adobe Stock, right? Which brought about this question here. So this is on the Adobe support community, and somebody was like, in recent weeks, the galleries have been swamped with artists selling AI art, many of which are basically just variations of the same images. I licensed a few of these before I knew what they were. Because of the controversy surrounding AI art, using stolen art, replicating art styles, etc., is there a way to get Adobe Stock to enforce a disclaimer for AI-generated art so that it's easier to spot and avoid? So, Jesus Christ, what a mess. So what's happening is that now Adobe has gone, by all means, yeah, upload your AI work and we'll sell it as stock. Right? I mean, and what this person is saying is like, look, I've downloaded some of your images. I licensed a few of these before I knew what they were. I mean, yeah, you would, right? You're going, oh yeah, I'll buy that for a quid. Sounds good. Because you don't know, unless you're really picking it apart, you don't know that that's AI generated. So what she's saying is, because of the controversy surrounding AI, outstalling art, replicating art styles, etc., yada yada yada, is there a way to get Adobe Stock to enforce a disclaimer for any AI generated art so that it's easier to spot and avoid? So what a mess. So now you don't know whether you're even buying an actual photograph or AI generated stock, and Adobe don't know. It's just down to the user. If you're uploading it and going, yeah, no, this is not AI. That's a photo that I took. Okay, yeah, I mean, it looks like a photo. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So, like, we for very, very difficult to tell, right? We're literally in a point now where, like, they've shot themselves in the foot, because these people are like, look, I don't want to download AI art if you don't own the rights to it, because, like she's saying, AI art, using stolen art, replicating art styles, etc. So I'm going to stop buying AI art as stock until you can enforce a disclaimer. But again, Adobe can't bloody do that. Yeah, we are evaluating this issue and appreciate your feedback. Shit, basically, is what Adobe's just said. So yeah, it's turning into an absolute mess where, the AI art has got so good that, Adobe can't tell what's stock and what's AI and what's actual photographs. The users, this poor person here, they can't bloody tell. So that everybody's afraid of, like, well, if I download an image now, especially a stock AI generated image, and you don't own the rights to it, that you're selling me the rights, but you don't own the rights to begin with, this is a real mess. It's turned into a real mess, and the issue has really become, up until this point, we were like, like, we know what's AI, right? Like, we know what's fake, and for the most part, when everybody was just banging out gangster Yodas, it was like, yeah, it was all fun and games. Yeah, everybody was having a right good old time because, oh yeah, we can make all this cool images that we couldn't make before, and it's awesome. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. But everybody knows that that's AI generated art. Everybody knows that Yoda just didn't bang out some 90s bling and get down to the Bronx. Like, no, what's happening now is that this is what's being generated, and now we're like, oh shit, now we can't tell what's real and what's not. Becoming a real issue. Yeah, becoming a real issue. So we're just checking out on the comments here. Who set up the camera for the monkeys? Well, I mean, yeah, but that's the same with the assistants, right? I mean, I've certainly been in some high-profile studios in my youth when I was assisting, and all the photographer did was literally press the button. I wouldn't say he took that photograph, even though legally he did. So yeah. But yeah, Steve, you're right. It is a mess. Yeah. On the subject of AI art, I was going to send you an example link, but I honestly couldn't tell if it was AI or generated. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at this. Oh, I've not seen this one. Yeah, I've not seen this one, Steve. Yeah. Okay. These comments, man. These comments. Like, this is the thing that, I mean, it's getting pretty damn good, guys. I'm just saying. Yeah, that's a great example, Steve. Yeah, nice. Yeah, great example. Yeah, really cool. There you are. I haven't seen this. I will have to check it out. Yeah, these comments, man, absolutely brilliant. I mean, look. I mean, what the hell? I'm genuinely like, is that AI? I'm genuinely, I mean, is it? That's nuts. It's even badly lit. You know, like, how do you do it? It's crazy. So, you know, where are we at with this? Well, I mean, like there's a couple of issues here in the UK. We have this online safety bill, and it hasn't even come out yet. It's been 5 years in the making of trying to release this, but essentially it was to deal with dealing with abusers of sharing images online, like sex images and that sort of stuff, or whatever it's called. And like the porn industry has been rife with deepfake, right? And people have been using deepfakes for a while now, and we're kind of in that territory of what's real, who owns it, consent, especially if the subject. The thing that I'm kind of curious about is like stuff like this is where is the AI bot getting this data from for this image? Like, have they found this girl online, right? And they've gone, yeah, this is cool, this is perfect for what we need. Boom, let's bang her in there. Okay, we can change the hair, change the color of her lips, and give her a different outfit. But is there a lady out there that looks exactly like this? Like, where does she stand? And what's happening here is that and like I said, this is so difficult to sort out, because like I said, this has been 5 years in the making and it's still not even out yet. But under a planned amendment to the online safety bill, people who share so-called deepfakes, explicit images or videos which have been manipulated to look like someone without their consent will be among those to be specifically criminalized for the first time and face potential time bars. So this is crazy for the UK government actually trying to get ahead of this for once, and actually going, you know what, yeah, deepfakes is now becoming such a thing that we are now going to criminalize deepfake, which is okay. So the point being, without their consent. Now specifically, I know I was just talking about explicit images and that sort of thing, but it's certainly something that can be brought about, yeah. And like I said, where does it come into the fact of like, well, where is this AI or is this deep fake? Has the bot just gone, I've found the perfect person for you, boom, here we go, okay? Because let's not forget, Adobe is just allowing it to use the images wherever it wants, okay? So there is one thing I couldn't find. I couldn't find the article that I wanted to find, but there is one thing that's happening with a lot of these AI generated images. And what is happening is that when AI was starting out, especially with these images, is AI wanted to learn from images that humans had made, right? So it kind of knew that, look, this dude here is spitting out like 5,000 latex women on Mars a day. It's generating huge amounts of content, and what AI was kind of afraid of in its AI learning, or its algorithmic learning, is that it doesn't want to learn from other AI, right? Because it wants to learn from human images so that it's correct. It doesn't want to go, okay, here's 5,000 images from Space Girl Jeff over there. Oh, that's great. Let's learn from those. No, it doesn't want to do that. It wants to try and learn from human images. So what happens is that a lot of these programs, to my knowledge, have sort of AI watermarks in them that stops AI from looking at other AI images as a reference point. Okay, which makes total sense, right? Makes total sense. You don't want to start down a loop of creating a bad image and then more bad images get made from that. Okay, so AI are supposedly, a lot of them will have AI watermarks in them that will stop itself and other AI from learning from it. Okay, now what I've seen happening is that there are groups of artists out there that are basically trying to get those watermarks and make sure that those watermarks, those anti-AI watermarks, are in their images, okay, so that the AI can't use it as a reference point to generate more images. I mean, talk about mess, yeah. So again, I'm sorry I couldn't I couldn't find the specific link on this, but yeah, there's certainly groups of artists who are getting or finding access to these watermarks, these AI watermarks that are then embedding them into their own images, so that future AI will not use their images as a data point. So yeah, that's where we're at. I think we've got a very sticky road ahead in terms of where this is going to go in terms of copyright. You know, you're going to fall into a couple of different camps. You know, you're going to fall into Space Babe's utopia here, just, you know, living out his fantasies online that he's been, you know, I just haven't been able to do this up until now, and he's just absolutely loving it. Great, you know. Or you can be, you know, you can be like Tim and go, well, you know, to hell with the apocalypse. Like, the world's gonna burn. I'm gonna bring my own gasoline. You know, that's you either join them or die, basically. You know, you got your options here. Counter to that, you've got the anti-AI at that end, who are accessing the AI watermarks to, you know, so that they can imprint them in their own images to make sure that AI doesn't use them as data points. So you've got that whole gamut, and then you've got the copyright issue on top of that. Can you sell the images? You know, can Tim sell this? I don't think he can, personally. I'm sure he doesn't want to, but the fact that he's shared them on his profile is enough. And whether he'll like just benefit from the drama and hysteria that this post creates, and then take it down in a few weeks, who knows? But yeah, certainly some interesting times ahead. Yeah. I wonder where we stand about using images of dead actors. Yeah, that's actually a really good point, Steve. I actually meant to mention that as well. But like I think we saw it. There was one recently, not one recent, but I've seen a couple of Albert Einstein and that sort of thing. They've been used in adverts. And it's really hazy as to, are you allowed to do that, like, without consent? Because there isn't a law yet. Okay, we're starting to see it here, and I think that the UK government is like, this is specifically explicit images, but it's like, you're trying to tell me that dead actors are not going to be used for free at the moment without having to pay commission, because, like, well, you don't own those images, and copyright under the moment, it comes under transformative, right? So I'm able to use images and stuff in my blog posts because they're transformative, educational, that sort of thing. It's a minefield, yeah, a real minefield, yeah. Interesting to keep an eye on, though, for sure. Yeah, we've certainly got a lot of things to look at. I'm like I said, I mean, I'm Ted here. Ted Forbes was he was like, yeah, it's, if you think that's being a creative, basically sat at home in front of your laptop just typing in a few words, if you think that's creative, you've got another thing coming. Like, he was pretty dismissive of it. It's hilarious, like, really just deadpan, like, yeah, nah, you're a nobody, you don't threaten me, which I thought was pretty funny. So, you know, he was definitely fairly dismissive of it, and you know, it's each their own, right? If you're getting your rocks off generating these shots, it's not, you know, it's costing you sod all, it's taking you 5 minutes, but how much of a creative are you? Kind of up for debate, right? I personally don't think much, really. I don't really think it's too creative, just punching in a few phrases. But like, if that gets your juices flowing, then fine. You know, I think for most of us, especially anybody here following my page, it's about that process of generating work, creating something, actually, getting your hands in there and actually, seeing something in your mind's eye and generating it using skills, because guys, you don't need to. You don't need to. If you just come up with an idea and you just want to sit at home and type it in, you don't need to learn photography. You can just do this if that's what you want. If you just want the end result. So yeah, interesting topics indeed. Interesting times. Yeah. Have you noticed how most of the AI rendered people are beautiful? Not many normal looking people in AI. Yeah, and this is an interesting point, Stephen. This is what I was saying about the way that like Midjourney. I don't know of other, but I use Midjourney, so I just use it as an example. But Midjourney would give you 4 examples, and you choose your favorite, right? So you as the human is giving it a data point by going, I prefer this over these. So what I find super fascinating about that is that humans have this innate sort of knowledge of what they believe beauty to be. Yeah, so they're always going to choose the most beautiful image out of like beautiful person in the image out of these 4, and this is where AI is getting these faces and stuff from. So these are kind of like perfect examples of what humans love to see. Who was that other one that you showed me? Like this one, yeah. Like features being perfect, right? There you go. Why is everything so perfect? What does that mean? Like, what does that mean, perfect? Like, what is that like? So you have an idea, a concept, whether it be esoteric or not, of what perfect is. So symmetry, clean skin, eyes certain distance apart, eyes 2/3 of the face up, like all these things are what perfect is to us in our mind. So it's that is only going to be niched down, I should think. Yeah. Apart from the fact that the AI is learning from probably vastly white focused people as well. It's probably majority of white faces that it's sourcing from as well. I doubt brands will give a flying fish if it's creative or not. You mean if it's creative? What do you mean, or who it was created by? Is it what you mean, or I mean this is creative to me. I think it's eye-catching. I think that's what brands want, eye-catching imagery. I don't know. It's a tough one. Hot model latex equals 10,000 followers. I mean, it's not rocket science, is it? Yeah. Well, I mean, so how long? I don't even know how long. What's the oldest post on this? I've got no idea. Because this guy's putting up like 20 images a day or something. I've got no idea how old this is. I also wonder if the algorithm is being like the algorithm for the hashtags and that sort of thing is being crushed as well. This guy's got a problem. Holy shit! I did not realize it was this many images. You need to get outside, mate. Like, this is what? I had no idea, dude. You need to touch some grass. This is fancy some human interaction at some point, maybe. Wow. I mean, it just keeps going, guys. I apologize. I did not realize. I thought it was only going to be like what? This has been up like 2 months, less than 2 months, and he's just absolutely flooded the internet with this, like hundreds at least of this in a couple of months, mate. What a fucking mess, eh? Doesn't it become graphic design more than photography? Well, that's the thing, Renee. Yeah, that's quite it. I don't know, but I mean, even if it is classed as graphic design, who owns it? It is. You're right. I mean, like I think to your point that it becomes more like art directors, right? So you're sat there like an art director would come to me and go, look, this is what I want. I want A, B, C, and D. I want the model to be well lit from the front. I want you to use purple and green color palette. I want it to be a 3/4 length shot, and I want it to and I want the hair to be, you know, dark brown. Like, so the art director is coming to me with these phrases that I have to put into the image, right? Well, it's the same thing as what this guy is doing. It's like, yeah, so I want the shoot to be of a girl with blonde hair on a lunar landscape wearing a, you know, shiny silver bodysuit. Like, that's, you just turn yourself into a creative director, right? So yeah, it's certainly not photography. Yeah. So Paul says they'll use it regardless. So to Paul's point, I doubt brands will give a flying fish if it's created or not. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I don't think that they will care, because what they want is, they want eyeballs, right? They want eyeballs on the images. If it's an image that is eye catching, that is gonna capture somebody's eyes if they're scrolling through. Like, you know, some of these are impressive. Like, you can't take away from it how impressive these are. And to Paul's point here, it's like, well, you know, art directors don't really give a shit, right? All the clients, like, these are, you know, your whole gallery is absolutely amazing. I mean, yeah, it is. So I mean, like you're saying, like, the clients aren't gonna care. This is what we want. Or what, I can have it by 3 o'clock tomorrow? Oh yes, please. we don't have to fly a whole team out to the Sahara to shoot this. Yeah, no, thanks. You can just have it after dinner. Seems only photographers have an issue if it's creative or not. Yeah, I mean, that's who we are, Paul. Yeah, like, we are. You know, it's what drives you. I mean, I'm not going to, you know, use it. I'm not against it, whatever it is. I mean, I for portraits, like portrait shooters, it's not going to affect them, you know, because you have to have the physical person in front of the camera. So it's not going to affect portrait shooters. It's not going to affect wedding shooters. You know, you have to actually be there. Yeah. Use ChatGPT to generate the prompts for Midjourney and go over Margarita. I'm not sure what you're kind of getting at there, Paul. So, because it sounds like you're fairly pro AI, and that's absolutely fine. You know, it don't make any difference to me. I get the feeling from your work though is that you enjoy the process of creating. So I think that, you know, that's really what it's going to come down to. And for me, you know, and my work, I'm always looking for new and creative ways to do things, and that's what I'm trying to do with my lighting and style and what I'm trying to do. So, but I wouldn't do this. This doesn't drive me to generate these sorts of images. It's not like, oh yeah, that's definitely what I want to do, because I can finally do everything that I wanted to do in my mind's eye. It's not, you know, it's not driving me. Do you know how long it takes to generate an image? He's churning out lots, so it's a minute once the criteria enters. Yeah. So you do prefer to get the camera? Yeah. Okay, Paul. Yeah, I was just checking, because I mean, and it's absolutely fine. You know, it's great to have a discussion, and I love the fact that you're coming at it from, you know, a sensible, or trying to look at both sides of the coin, as opposed to just getting the pitchfork out and going, no, anti-AI or nothing. So I, you know, I certainly appreciate you coming at it with a different perspective, and you know, maybe it is a string to the bow that if you go, look, I can do the cool, you know, beautiful boudoir lingerie shot with gels and all that sort of stuff, or, you know, you can have this. Sure, fine. I mean, it's going to cost you the same amount. Then sure, okay, fine, yeah. So to Renee's point here, do you know how long it takes to generate an AI image? So when I was using Midjourney, what you know, 6 months ago, whenever it was like a minute, right? Like, so once you got the prompt, and what your point there is, he's got his prompts that he knows works. You know, is probably just a phrase or whatever it is, or it's basically this, right? That's what you're putting in, and once you've got that, it doesn't take long at all, like minutes. Yeah, and sure, you have to upscale it to a higher resolution, but even then, it's still minutes, right? And you can, if you're paying, I mean, you can pay to be on the fast track, which makes it even faster. So I think, you know, back then you could pay a little bit extra, and your images would be put to the front of the queue, right, to be processed by the GPU and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's very, very fast. Yeah, and my point being is that once you know what you're doing and you've got your triggers, what I find kind of interesting about this is that this guy or girl who is making these AI images, they kind of have their own style already, right? They have their own style because they've got their own prompts. So their prompts is going to be their style. What I found funny about Midjourney was that it showed your prompt, so it showed you what you typed in to get this, and people, like, that was one of the biggest things that these guys generating these were like trying to hide and stuff, and like, oh, you shouldn't be able to see the prompts and that sort of thing. It's just like, shut up, you're already using somebody else's work and now you're afraid somebody else is going to steal your 5 keywords. Like, shut up. Hilarious. Yeah, I can't believe you're using my prompt and stuff. Like, what? You don't think you own that, do you? So yeah, once you got the prompts and that sort of thing, it's all, you know, it's all downhill from there. But you do have a degree in AI. Oh, okay, Paul. Oh, I see. Interesting. Okay. So that's why you're coming at it from an angle of trying to see the benefits. So, Paul, tell me then, what are a couple of the benefits that photographers, you know, could use it for example? Could you use it to set up a lighting setup for you, for example? So you go, I don't know, a high key studio portrait with, I don't know, you know, colored gels and that sort of thing. Would the AI be able to generate a shot for you, and then you could go, you know, I could look at this and go, yeah, I can see we got the light here, and we got some sculpting here and that sort of stuff. Could you then basically reverse engineer an image that the AI has generated and then light it in that way? I wonder. Yeah. This is a great. I mean, was it Steve who sent me this link? This is cool, man. This is. I mean, you can't argue with the quality of this. Yeah, nuts, absolutely nuts. Yeah, what I find weird is like hair and stuff is so good. And this is the thing, is, you know, years ago when I was younger, it was like, oh, I'm going to get into an art-based career because, you know, machines are taking over everybody's jobs, and don't worry, like, I know art will be safe and secure. Machines will never be able to do art. It's such an innately human thing. And it's kind of ironic that we're not really using the AI to generate the fastest stealth fighter planes. You know, we're using it to generate crazy colored hair, and it's just grown so quickly that it's just surpassed what we could do, especially in the time frame. Yeah, it's nuts. It's the intersection between the two. Compositing is definitely a real option. Yes, true. Yeah. I know you mentioned about the fingers before, Steve, but I like, and you're right. It does struggle with the fingers, but look, once it trust me, it's just managed to cope with faces over the previous months. Fingers, it'll have fingers done by the end of the week. It's not going to be a problem for much longer. Teeth was recently an issue, and it's managed to overcome that very, very quickly. So fingers is because we were all laughing 6 months ago about, oh, AI and faces, we struggling, oh yeah, nah, that's fine. And then holy shit, look at where we are now. So fingers will be done by Friday afternoon. You know, that's not going to be a problem for it. Right. So if anybody's interested in any of those links, let me know. I can certainly pass them on. But yeah, just, you know, be aware that you know, you might have to turn this off in your settings, privacy and personal data. If you've got stuff in the cloud, I don't know how much this actually stops it from being used. Could you prove it? You know, this is the other issue that I saw in a recent copyright case of somebody going, no, they've generated this AI art using my imagery as a base. Prove it. I don't see your image there. It's like, yeah, but you've used my imagery. Prove it. You can't, right? So this is all really sort of open. This is all open source at the moment, regardless of whether you think you've locked it off or not. Yeah, it's definitely going to be the Wild West. I am blown away that the UK government is actually looking at it, even though it has been 5 years in the making of this online safety bill. It's at least a step in the right direction. 7 months time before we hit singularity. I think it'd be 7 days, mate. I think you're being a bit optimistic. I think you're being a bit optimistic about got 7 months. I don't know about that one. But yeah, interesting indeed. Okay, let's have a look. I'm sure most of you. I've only got probably 3 people left watching after I've ranted and raved about that. But I thought it was pretty interesting to have a little bit of a chat about it, especially for those that may not have been up to speed on it or aware of it, or even curious as to how fast it's been changing, right? But yeah. So let's have a look at some of your guys' images, that you've been sharing. It's always a pleasure. I don't know. Like, did anybody check out the images that were posted last week? It was nuts. It was absolutely incredible response last week for the share shoot. Like, the share shoot was just insane. Like, so many people posted an image last week. Of course, this week when it came to actually having your images potentially live on stream, everybody was a little bit shyer, but it's all good. It's all good. We got some here. So what are we doing? We're going to go through your images. If you missed it or not sure what this is, share a shoot. Do it every Monday. So this was a post that I put up yesterday. So just scroll back and check that out. If you want to, then by all means pop an image in the comment section in here. I don't want to skip over Lauren, I will come back to you, but I do remember that Ryan, if he's still in chat, did post an image. So Ryan says here, I've been experimenting with a lot of our relevant topics lately. The background was created in Midjourney and projected onto a sidewall with a 4K ViewSonic projector. I composited it in some elements in post to add more depth and atmosphere. I don't think AI systems provide imagery that is 100% usable yet. Don't know, Ryan. Don't know. There's always something slightly off about it, but maybe in time that will change. Yeah, I think we're pretty much there, man. I think we're pretty much there. But yeah, this is great actually, and I think Ryan's use of the AI stuff here is actually really clever and really cool with regards to what you're able to produce. So again, what he's doing is the background was created by AI, so Midjourney. He's put his prompts in, and then he's taken that image and then he's projected it onto the background behind the model, which is what we see here. So really cool and totally unique, right? He's got a unique backdrop that nobody else has got, and he's able to use it in his imagery as well. And I mean, the other benefit of this is that because there's not even an issue of copyright here, because it's transformative anyway. So he doesn't need to worry about who owns that image in the background, because it's transformative with regards to the subject being in it as well. So I think it's a really clever use of it, and I think that it would be a great project to do, have a series of images with regards to having AI generated backgrounds and being able to bed your subject in there and play around with that, especially because you could get inspiration from like the lighting that is being generated by the background, right? So we've got a background here. It feels like we've got light coming through some trees and stuff here, behind. Looks like Ryan's added some of these sparkles and stuff in post, but still we could have had oh, that's not what I want. Let's get that one. So like we could have had light coming here on the arm, for example, because it feels like we've got light coming from behind. So it would have been, we could have looked at the image generated by Midjourney and tried to add just a little bit more of a backlight, maybe have a little bit of flare coming and doing that in camera. So we can be kind of inspired by the backgrounds generated by AI and have that as part of the image. So I think it's cool. I think it's a really good use of it. And again, Ryan, all I would say was, maybe just look at the lighting that's going on there and try and bed the two in. But other than that, I think it's really cool. Yeah. Quick question, just joined in local competitions. Why don't judges like highlights makeup in portraits when I see beautiful highlights on great Tog's work? This is an interesting one, Liz. Yeah, and it's a really valid question. So I think what Liz is referring to, let's have a look. I don't think I close that. I don't think I closed it. So let's see. So it's really prevalent in some of these, right? So like here. So yeah, and this is something that is a stylistic choice that we've seen far more of in recent years. And you know, I actually ask for it in my images from a makeup artist. I'll say, look, I want dewy skin, and what they'll do is they'll apply shine and highlight on the skin to get that look. And I like that look because it shows an extra dimension to the subject, right? So like here, for example, you know, this is a shoot where I asked the makeup artist, I want the skin to, you know, have this dewy, almost, you know, shiny chromed effect, and that's what she did. You know, and it works to show these highlights. Now, this is super common now. I see it all the time. And what Liz is saying here is, in local competitions, why don't judges like highlights makeup in portraits when I see beautiful images on great Tog's work? Because it's, I'm not saying always, but a lot of the times competitions can be of a maybe an older generation, where years ago they would ask the makeup artist to matte the model down. So totally opposite to what we're doing now. So they would matte the model down. So they would be powdered to get rid of any highlight at all. And that was deemed as more flattering and more beautifying if your face was, you know, was very even. And that was usually as well to help with an era before Photoshop, right? So especially with the Hollywood glamour lighting, you know, 50s, 60s, and that sort of thing, they use the big Fresnel, and you're gonna have a very almost flat look on the face because you're not going to be doing any Photoshop. As soon as you start adding highlights and that sort of thing to the skin, you need to get in there and make sure that you've Photoshopped any bumps and that sort of thing, because it will really pop because the light will catch it. So it's just, in my opinion, Liz, it's an old-fashioned approach. This is a more current look that you'll see. Kind of ironic that the AI sees that as well. Like the AI isn't looking at old images from the 60s and going, oh no, beautiful skin should be mattified. You know, it's looking at modern images and going, yeah, skin needs to be dewy. So use the photographic competitions by all means. Use it as a way to learn and that sort of thing. But don't get too hung up on what they say. You know, do what you think looks good to you. If you prefer this, do this. If you prefer the matted effect, then do that instead. Yeah. Hey Dave, how you doing, mate? Right. So yeah, thanks for sharing that one, Ryan. Really, really cool. Yeah, and a great example of kind of using AI in sort of modern work, with, you know, how we can use it with modern images today without it being all about AI. How can we use AI as a tool within our photography? Okay, so let's have a look. So we got Lauren's image here. We'd love some CC on this. Next time I will put my pink light higher. Anything else I can improve on? This is cool, Lauren. This is great. I hope you're doing well, by the way. So this poor woman is really about to pop any second. So what Lauren's saying here is, next time I put my pink light higher. So I mean, like, we've seen pretty good. We got the pink light here and we got the pink light here. That's pretty good. So maybe you're saying like a little bit of a pink light higher here, maybe. Maybe that could help. So I suppose one question I've got for you is, what are you trying to achieve with this in terms of the like the look, I suppose, because I'm trying to work out what modifier you might have been using. If you're using, like a dish with a grid back here, just a normal reflector dish, we might be getting a smaller hard point of light. Or are we using like an umbrella, which is going to be, which is going to generate a far larger catch light and probably going to get more of a line around the outside. So using a larger modifier, strip softboxes don't count. Don't use those for what we're doing. You want to be using an umbrella. So that will give you more of a line all the way around the outside, and bringing it up nice and high, like you're saying, allowing that light to fall down can certainly help. And the other thing that I'm kind of concerned about here is how heavy and like the shadows are here. We've lost quite a bit of data here in some of the shadows. And although I love this beautiful shape and highlights that we have here, I'm just concerned with how much of a heavy shadow area that we have there. And this is always the case when we're doing with black hair or feathers and that sort of thing, is we need to try and fill that in with a little bit of light. For me, I use another blue light that would maybe be softer, and that's going to fill in some of these shadows, just to fill in the heavy shadows. That would be what I would refer to as your base coat of light, and that's going to allow you to see some of this data that is in the hair and feathers and that sort of thing that just love to soak up light. I'll open up this image again because it's just a useful example. So you can see we have black cotton fabric here, and we have very dense, very tight weave hair here, but we have a lot of data, a lot of detail there, and that's to do with adding that extra base coat of light that's just going to lift those heavy shadows. Okay. So yeah, nicely done. I think it's cool. Just like you're saying, lift up that light a little bit, that pink light a little bit. If you're not using a silver umbrella or something like that, that might be a way to go, just to get a little bit more light in here, and then also have another blue light rather than just this one on the body, just another soft light just to fill in some of these shadows as well. Okay. Maybe dewy skin is a composite for the lack of glossy magazines. yeah. Smakal says 4Light set up 2 light red gelled umbrellas. 4Light set up 2 light red gel. Sorry, I'm just looking because there's no red in here. Red gelled umbrellas pointed at a white backdrop, blue fill, white key with grid. Okay, so we got 4 lights set up, 2 lights. Let's just say they're pink. 2 gelled umbrellas pointed at white backdrop, blue fill. So okay, so it is pink. Okay, cool. I thought, man, I need to get my eyes checked. Okay, so we got the umbrellas, and they're pointed at the white backdrop to make them like to make it pink. So what I'm also getting here is that they are quite bright in power. That's what, because we don't have any pink directly on the model, right? It's just a pink pointed at the background, or they kind of pointed at the background and the model. One thing that's going on here is I feel like we could benefit from having this darkened down a little bit. Yeah, so I feel like we could just benefit from this being darkened down a little bit. I'm just going to apply image, so I've just masked out the highlights there. So I just wanted to see, if we could. I'm just going to change this to luminosity, so it's not affecting the color too much. Yeah, so I just feel like the whole image is a little bit bright, and just darkening it down a little bit is going to bring out some of those colors, and again, it's going to give us a little bit more shape our face here, right? So underneath this blown out highlight, well, I think we do have some shape. So I think it might be worth going back to potentially, back to the raw and exporting a file that's slightly darker to work on. I really need to get a boom for my microphone, because you see me doing I'm trying to use the keyboard around the microphone. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, do it. Enter the image, all highlighty, into the next comp, and then add it to the. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, do it. Yeah, I'd love to see that actually. Yeah, I'll be curious to see what they say. Like I said, look, use these photo competitions to to get an opinion, get some feedback. It's the same with me. I'm giving feedback and critique here. It's not right or wrong. It's just a different perspective, right? And I think you got to choose what resonates with you. If you like the highlights, absolutely go with it. If it means you're not going to get a great mark in the competition, then that's on them. That's not on you. Just remember that everybody told me that I was crazy for using colored gels years ago. Everybody said you've ruined that image by using colored gels on that person. So everybody told me I was mad. So look, how bad could it be? So Mikhail, yeah, just thinking about darkening this down, and also thinking about trying to control the light a little bit, because as you mentioned here, probably could have had more separation. Okay. I didn't test the lights individually like I should have, since I was rushed. Okay, fair enough. Also got weird shadow from the fill on the neck. So yeah, we've got this weird shadow here. So yeah, I mean, you kind of know that you were kind of a little bit rushed, and you're trying to get the image. Trying to get an image rather than nothing at all. Done is better than perfect. So I totally get that. But yes, to your point, turn on these lights one at a time. Take a shot of one light on, see what that's doing. Try and in your head try and think about, you can only apply a gel to a shadow. So if I want pink here on the side or whatever, if I want blue here, then there can't be any other lights there. So I need to see exactly what's going on, what each light is doing, and kind of move them accordingly. It was actually a test shot that I ended up liking. She's posing like this for the test shot. That's great. So I wondered what this dressing gown was about. So that's why she's got that on. That makes sense. The test shot. I've got test shots as well where I'm testing the lights, and the model's still got her dressing gown on. Gotcha. I bet she's Don't. She'll be livid if you post that, mate. You got to be careful. So Kathleen says, working on the shoot from last year in finishing it up. Snake is made out of cake. What? Not necessarily looking for CC. I've already seen some areas I like, and dang, could have. Okay, excited to hear your discussion on AI. Yeah, I remember you posting this one. I don't know, not too long ago, Kathleen, but yeah, I know this was a shoot you were working on from last year, and yeah, it's really cool. Nuts that snake is made out of cake though. It's like, what on earth? It's crazy what you can do. But yeah, I kind of like it, and again, we've kind of been talking about these highlights on the skin, and I like this, especially on darker skin models, like gels and darker skin models. So good. It's very easy to get great looking shots on darker skin models because you get this variety and variation in color, and here we have these beautiful highlights. We were just talking about this, but these highlights are a different color, right? Because we're actually seeing a direct specular reflection from the actual light source itself, and it really shows itself up on dark skin models, because you can see it on the hair, right? We're not lighting the hair. This hair is wet, so we're seeing reflections of the colored light in the hair. So this is a specular highlight. We're not lighting the hair, we're seeing the reflection of the color. So yeah, kind of interesting. I noticed it in this here. Boom, you see this dark skin model? See what I mean about this color, this reflected color? it's really prominent on dark skin mods. Even the AI is picking up on this. Yeah. My models have a special skull blankie in my studio for portraits. What a skull blankie! So it's like is a blanket that has arms and stuff that they can put on and wear, or is it got like a skull? It's a skull blankie. That is a new one for me. So Vlad says, after one of your streams, I started reading about the Fresnel lenses and ended up ordering a few magnifier lenses for reading, which are basically A5 sheets of plastic Fresnel lenses. Had some fun with them on this shoot and absolutely loved the resulting shots. $5 well spent. Yeah, I mean, I got a bunch of those magnifiers, which are essentially Fresnels as well. They're okay, and they're great for controlling the light if you need to. But the Fresnel itself will give you that very even spread of light, which is what I like. And yeah, I mean, for $5, they're fine. But yeah, and again, I use them to direct the light sometimes rather than a grid or something like that, so it can be useful. I'm not sure that we're seeing the benefit of a Fresnel here as opposed to had you just used a grid or something like that. For example, a Fresnel is really about giving that even spread of light from center to outside and seeing the benefit of that. But again, always love seeing the fact that you are experimenting and playing with ideas. Always, every time that you post, you're always trying new ideas, and that's that's great. Absolutely, play with it for sure. Just be mindful of the effect that it's giving compared to an actual Fresnel, but at least you can see the physics at work, right, of it channeling the light and projecting it. Yeah, very, very cool. I kind of like that. I presume this is flare, right? We're getting this flare, and I really like this sort of circular flare that we've got. I'm guessing that's from a specific lens or something you have. I think that's kind of cool. Yeah, really nice. Nicely graded, as always. I know you're on this cinematic vibe at the moment, and again, definitely nailing it. Yeah, absolutely got a cinematic vibe on that image for sure. Oh, this is one of Dave's shots. So Dave said, totally blasphemous shot here. JPEG from the camera and edited fully on the iPhone using Snapseed, using some of its built-in presets to add muck and grunge to the shot. Theme was Brides of Dracula, lit by 2 Rotolight Neon 3 for color and 1 Neo 2 for highlights. So you joined a little bit later on, Dave, if you're still here. Have you upgraded the firmware on your Rotolights yet? I just did it. I just did mine today, so it's not like it's been out ages and you're way behind on the times or anything. But yeah, I only updated mine today, and also the app as well. I spoke about earlier on in the stream. Once we're done, just scroll back to the start of the stream and watch the start, and because I talk about the Magic Eye feature on the app, the Rotolight app that enables you to target colors. Definitely worth having a look at if you haven't. Yeah. Oh, you did it this afternoon. Nice. So what Dave's doing here is just playing with an app on the phone called Snapseed. You don't hear much of it anymore. It used to be prevalent years ago. It was massive. I think classic Google bought it and then just did nothing with it or whatever. Just killed it like they do everything else. But yeah, it's still a very powerful app. I know I've got it on my phone as well. Just talking about apps, I will just mention this. This is an app that I hardly ever use apps, right? And one app that I use is an app called CapCut. So CAPCUT, and I just do like quick videos and stuff, and what are they called, stories on Instagram and that sort of thing. But it's got some really cool filters in there. Like really, if you're into grungy kind of filters or nostalgic filters and that sort of thing, really, really cool. Love it. Yeah, absolutely love it. It's worth having a look at that, Dave. Yeah. Playing with the presets and that sort of stuff. Yeah, I used to play a huge amount with the presets and that sort of thing years ago. You don't see it anymore. I think it was one of those things where it gets overdone and then people bounce off it. Will this be the same for AI? I wonder, man. Yeah, I wonder if it's just going to be, I'm sick and tired of seeing the AI style. But whether whether we're at a point now where people don't know it's AI, right? So maybe we won't bounce off it. Use it as well, David. Yeah, CapCut is super powerful. Yeah, I mean, it's free. I mean, they've got some paid filters on there now. It's really powerful. I think, ironically, they have just included some AI features in there, which are kind of cool. But yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I think is it Korean or something like that? I don't know. Yeah, really, really cool. Just did mine, not done the app yet, in bed early. Yeah, you're talking about the Rotolight update. Yeah, nice, fair play. God, you guys are good, man. Christ, I have to be told a dozen times to do it before I do anything technical like that. Steve says, I've noticed a few IG models using a few AI-like apps like Facetune to top off and edit. Oh my God, really? Jesus, that's rough, man. Yeah, you gotta be. I mean, what are you gonna do? You can scream and cry and bitch and moan until you're blue in the face, but models will do what models do. Dave says seen some crazy stuff done with it. What, CapCut? Have you really, David? If you got some examples, I'd love to see it. Because I mean, I haven't got the patience for video, so I only do like 10-second stories, and that's enough for me. But yeah, I'd be interested to see what you've done with it. I know I told my wife to use it, and she's done some cool stuff with it. Yeah, super powerful. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that one, Dave. I don't really have a huge amount to offer to this one, other than the fact that I would say that you nailed the vibe that you were going for. It's because you're saying you're going for theme was Brides of Dracula, and this face looks super, super creepy. You definitely nailed that vibe of like, is that a ghost face? Or like, I think it's done really well. Yeah. So Tony says here, this is cool. Playing with textures and color grading. This is graded with Photoshop's applied sunset LUT with a mask to remove the effect from a face. Okay. Tony again is somebody who's always playing with new ideas, whether it be out photographing Spider-Man in the city for composites, or doing long exposure at night next to the lake, or in the studio with smoke, or Tony's always doing something different each time and playing with new ideas. This is actually really effective, and what Tony's doing here, I'm assuming, is he's got this this sort of almost crepe style fabric, or very, very creased fabric, and he's got it draped over the model's head, and then he's photographing it down this sort of tunnel of fabric, as it were. So you have this beautiful lead in, as well as this really nice effect as it comes out of focus here, which is really, really cool, and really effective because of how creased it is, as well as it allowing the light to come through just enough. And then he's saying here he's playing with the sunset LUT. So I've been asked this several times, like, Jake, do you use LUTs or lookup tables? And I don't use them. And unless I'm mistaken, you can't really fine tune them that much, right? So that's the reason why I don't use them. And because people use them in films all the time. I can't believe you don't use LUTs. I was like, well, because I can't micromanage them and fine tune them to exactly the way I want. You just get this boom. Straight on top, unless I'm doing something wrong. But to my knowledge, I mean, if you're not aware of where they are, so we got color lookups. There you go. So you got your color lookups in here. So you got your so there you go. So you got your sunsets and that sort of stuff, right? But I can't change it. And if somebody knows, oh, come on, Jake, you're being stupid, then by all means tell me. But as far as I'm aware, they're just fixed, right? So that's why I don't use them. By all means, have a play, but yeah. That's the reason why I don't use them. Is just because they're just a hammer approach to what I'm after. the only thing I would say on this, Tony, I don't really, I mean, this, you know, I know you're just sharing it, but just one thing on this, I'm just kind of curious as to the lighting. I just feel like just be careful of having that light too far back sometimes on the face, because it can cast these kind of shadows here. It's kind of difficult, right? Because you want to be able to, you know, in a perfect world, I would bring that light closer to the camera so that we could fill in some of those little shadows there. But then you're like, well, Jake, now we're going to start you know, lighting this side of the face. So it's I get it, it's kind of tricky, but yeah, just something to be mindful of, because what's happening is that we have the side of the face being brighter than the front of the face. That can be kind of distracting to our eye because we're drawn to the brightest part of an image. So in terms of shape and dimension, we kind of prefer to have an image that is brighter at the front and then you know, gets darker towards the back of it. Now you can have a highlight here, you can have like an edge light, but we tend to prefer to have it being brighter in the front and then fading off. But I think it works. You know, like the main feature of this is the you know, is the sheet and stuff that we've got going on here. Let me just refresh that in case I missed any. What did I miss? So Korean makeup AI apps are flipping crazy. They are so good, right, Liz? Yes, nuts. Have you ever seen any of those before and after of those Asian girls that do the before and after makeup? It's like Japanese girls and that sort of thing. They do the videos where they show you their face before makeup and their face after makeup. My wife's always shown them to me, and they are insane. And this is not the apps either, so this is just like the makeup skills. This is always the thing that I find funny, when you get people going, oh my god, you know, you use Photoshop, it's just about the raw image, and I like to capture the subject, you know, and in real life I don't like to use Photoshop and that sort of stuff. Well, where do we draw the line? Or I think Petapixel shared one of my articles years ago, and like one idiot in the comments was like, oh, I need to see the raw image. Like, there's no point in me seeing this processed image. Like, how far back do we go? Do we, like, is the model allowed to wear makeup? Like, what, you know, is it just Lightroom, or do I have to remove the AI JPEG? You know, like, what do we, like, what? How far back do we go on this? So I think what can be done with makeup is insane with the, you know, with the right skills. And then what these apps that you're talking about here, where you say, yeah, the Korean makeup apps are just taking these triggers of you know, highlight on the nose, folded eyelids, you know, lifting up the corners. So they're taking this knowledge of what great makeup is and applying it to their apps instantaneously. It's crazy. Yeah, absolutely crazy. So powerful. Yeah. Steve says, I'm used to using Final Cut Pro. I think I'm too old to learn these trendy new apps to edit video on a phone. Mate, honestly, if I can use it, trust me, Steve, anybody can use it. Yeah. Oh, thanks for that, Dave. I'll have a look at that. Or is that just going to show me some examples? Oh my God, was it some 13-year-old YouTuber? I'm not sure I can watch that with the sound on, but okay, I will have a look at that, Dave. Thank you. Yeah. What's up, guys? This is your boy Danny Portraits here to bring you another video on CapCut. Oh God. So David says, thank you, David. LUTs are baked in. You can't tweak them, right? That's what I thought. So, you know, I mean, that's great. If you find a LUT that works for you, then cool. But yeah, I've seen a program that allows you to extract and tweak them, but it's not worth it. Right, David. Yeah, I think we had this discussion a while back, and I think I was looking at that. You can go in and tweak them and then export the LUT to use. But yeah, it's not very intuitive. Yeah. I tried watching a show called AP Bio, and they went overboard on shooting log and then using LUTs. I mean, look, you know, it's all out there, right? You know. Lots of video pretty normal, right? Yeah, exactly. And it helps to, like, super consistent, to get a look that is very consistent. It makes it very easy to get the same look time and time again. Yeah, some people use no Photoshop Lightroom as a badge of honor. Agreed, Ryan. Yeah, I think that means they are not doing their job properly. But no, you're absolutely right. Yeah, they people who are like, oh yeah, no, I don't use Photoshop and Lightroom. Can you use Photoshop and Lightroom? Well, no, but you know, I choose not to. It's like, it's fine. Yeah, it's, you know, everybody's different. You know, It is what it is. So we got a late entry here from Sam. This is looking cool. Tad later than the submission. Shot with single key light and beauty dish with 2 LED panels on either side to get a nice long exposure shot at f11 at quarter of a second. This is beautiful, Sam. Love this, and great example of long exposure. Really nice example of long exposure, because you've got clean light on the face, and then you're using something shiny, like specifically these fingernail pieces, whatever they are, which are going to reflect the light, which enables you to use that long exposure ambient light LED panel. And this is something that I think a lot of people, when they're playing with long exposure, can sometimes struggle with, right? Because they're like, well, I'm doing everything that you said, Jake. I've got my flash and I've got my ambient light. Why isn't it working? Well, a lot of the time you just need something for the light to actually reflect off, need something for the light to actually bounce off. So either the skin's got to be covered in oil, so we have nice shiny skin, so we can actually get some of those light trails. Sometimes you've got to have shiny jewelry is a real easy one. I know I've got some jewelry that we can use on set if we want to do some long exposure stuff. Then we've got like big do I have an example shot? Let's have a look. Maybe not. I'm sure in my mind. Is it? Well, you just have to trust me. It works, all right. But yeah, it's like, so jewelry, clothing, like shiny clothing. Works really well. Here you go. Yeah. So like having over the top, maybe reflective earrings and that sort of thing, or even, I mean, it's working on her because she's got blonde hair, but you can see even with the light, the ambient light hitting her all over, it's really just being picked up on the shiny objects. So my point being here is, I think this is a great example of long exposure and flash, because you have something that's going to pick up the long exposure really nicely. Yeah, I think it's a great job. Yeah, really nice job. Yeah. The only thing, I'm going to say it, Sam, but the only thing that is just to watch for is just to watch this edge, right? Where is the subject ending and where is the background beginning? Same with natural light shoot. That's right. They wear that with a badge of honor for sure. Yeah. Can you use flash? No. Okay. And it says, would I be able to flash this light together with my Bowens XMT 500 light? Would I be able to flash this light? What do you mean to flash this light, Anna? So the Bowens XMT 500 is what I use, and they are LED modeling bulbs. So I've done long exposure with the LED modeling bulbs, not as strong. Yeah. Hey, no worries, Steve. Yeah, take it easy, man. Yeah. And tax return. Yeah, good luck, mate. I did mine on Friday. It was miserable. Yeah, the bill was even worse. So you can mix your flash, but are you asking if you can use the LED modeling bulb from your XMT? You can do, but it is very dim, especially if you've got a modifier on it. But it's certainly possible. Yeah, definitely possible. Yeah, I'll just double check nobody else joined, added anything last minute. David, look, David's about to get us banned. Nice. Everyone with gels, and here I come with natural light. We're just talking about you buggers. We're not completely natural light. One light, camera left. So we got a light over here. 1/3 strip softbox. Oh no, I know, rotated horizontally. It just gets worse, Dave. To lift the shadows, sunlight is key coming through the front door. So you've got a light to camera left. If you're still here, David, where? Doing what? Can't see it. And then maybe that's because you're using strip softbox horizontally. Maybe that's why we can't see it. Look, regardless of the lighting and how we got here, this is a great image. Yeah, it is a really nice image, and I mean, I love the final grade that you've gone for. I'm just looking at this, trying to sort of like the nose and that sort of thing. It's something to be mindful of. But yeah, it's tricky. Yeah, it is tricky when we're going for. You can get away with up the nose with editorial fashion, but with the when we're trying to do sexy, you just got to be careful with that nose being up too high. But look, I think I love the final grade that you've gone for. But so you're saying it is up high. I'll take your word for it, mate. I'm sure it's there. Yeah, we would have to see a shot with it on and off. Is it just catching here or something like that? I cannot see where that's. Maybe it didn't fire, mate. You know, it happens to all of us. Look, bottom line, this is a great shot, and especially the way that's been color graded. You know, I think your color grading and stuff has been absolutely spot on recently. Really, really cool. Yeah, really, really nice. Yeah, yeah. I have one somewhere. Yeah. You have that softbox somewhere. Yeah, excellent work, mate. Great to see you still shooting. I know you're busy with other projects and that sort of thing, but yeah, hopefully you're managing to get some shoots done. So thanks for posting that. Yeah, and like, I mean, I've been seeing some of your work on Instagram. It's been absolutely great. Yeah, really, really cool. Yeah, it's been good stuff, man. Definitely going the right way. Especially in that massive studio space that you've got there at home. It just makes it easy to get tons of really cool shots. Right then, guys. If there's any other last minute questions, then by all means fire away. I think that's all the images we had this week. It's my fault for I forget that I posted images like this on Friday, and then I posted the same style of image on Monday, and that means that people just, I've seen that image before, and scroll past. So we didn't get many submissions this week, but last week, God, we had tons of great images last week. But 2 weeks time we'll do another live stream, hopefully, and next Tuesday will hopefully be a Technique Tuesday, if I can manage to think of one, write one, then we will do that. But yeah, any other last minute questions, let me know. I think that's about it. Yeah, don't forget online workshops. I've been doing a ton of online workshops recently, which has been amazing, especially, you know, the quiet time of the year, January, that sort of thing. So I've been doing a bunch of those. Also, don't forget, you know, doing the online mentoring. I've been doing one-to-one retouching as well as business feedback as well. Again, it's been great to be able to do a few of those in January, especially where it's been a bit quieter. So yeah, don't forget to check those out. No worries, David. Thanks for dropping by. I'm glad you're able to make this one. Hopefully we'll catch you in the next one. All right, guys. Take care. Take it easy. Good luck with any shoots you got coming up, and I shall see you again in a couple of weeks. Take care. Bye.